Charlie was frantic, apologizing to other drivers while chasing after Raymond. He couldn't hold back his anger anymore. He didn't understand autism at all, nor did he understand Raymond. But he had no other choice. He could only follow behind Raymond until the traffic cleared and he could get him back in the car. When they arrived at the hotel, it started pouring rain. Raymond had a rule. He never went out on rainy days. Charlie had to compromise again. Just then, Charlie received good news. Legally speaking, Raymond's custody was unclaimed, and he had a high chance of winning the lawsuit and getting the $3 million. Charlie immediately asked his lawyer to prepare for the hearing and planned to continue their journey as soon as the rain stopped. But before long, Raymond realized he didn't have any underwear and insisted on going back to the supermarket near the sanatorium to buy some. He even grabbed the steering wheel. Charlie finally snapped,
"Difference does it make? What difference does it make where you buy underwear?"
Charlie vented his frustration from a distance. After calming down, Charlie wanted to find a psychologist for advice. But as soon as he got out of the car to make a call, he realized Raymond was gone. Raymond had tried to walk back to the sanatorium. When the red light came on while he was crossing the road, he stood motionless in the middle of the street, ignoring the blaring horns from passing cars. For Raymond, following rules made him feel at ease. He had to live within his own rules. When Charlie found him and saw a driver shoving Raymond, he felt upset. Even if his brother was different, no one had the right to mistreat him. Charlie took Raymond to a psychological clinic, but the doctor couldn't provide any professional advice. During their conversation, the doctor discovered Raymond's talent.
Are you good with numbers?
Yeah.
Do you know how much 312 times 123 is?
38376.
He's right.
The doctor was astonished. Most autistic people struggle with communication and emotional control, but Raymond was different. His IQ was far above average. Charlie looked at Raymond carefully. Suddenly, he thought having such a brother wasn't so bad. He began to try to accept Raymond. Charlie took Raymond everywhere with him and continuously accommodated his habits. When there was a TV show Raymond insisted on watching, Charlie found a way to take him to a stranger's house to watch it. But his business troubles persisted. Because he hadn't repaid the loan on time, his credit card was also canceled. Charlie was at the end of his rope. His only hope was to win the lawsuit, gain custody of Raymond, and get the $3 million. But the two thoughts, wanting his brother and wanting the money, were no longer the same. That night, as Raymond brushed his teeth, he suddenly said two words.
Raymond. Yeah.
I said Raymond?
Yeah, funny Raymond.
Curious, Charlie looked at him, repeating Raymond and Rain Man to himself, and realized with a start, there's a Rain Man.
You? There's a Raymond?
Rain Man was an imaginary friend he had created as a child, someone who would sing to comfort him when he was sad. In the photo, Raymond was holding Charlie. Charlie couldn't believe it. Had they lived together before? Why had he had no memory of it? Raymond began to sing the song only Rain Man knew. And the way she looked was way beyond compare. So how could I dance with another? I saw her stand. At that moment, Charlie was deeply moved. His heart settled, filled with a comforting sense of security. He tried to get Raymond some water, but Raymond suddenly shouted, Charlie didn't understand until Raymond pointed at the water and repeated,
I want my baby.
After turning off the water, Raymond finally calmed down. Charlie suddenly figured it out. He finally knew why his parents had sent Raymond away after he was born. Perhaps Raymond had accidentally scalded him with hot water. Though it hadn't been intentional, autism was rare in those days, and his parents had had no choice but to send Raymond to the sanatorium. This was the first time Charlie had treated someone with patience. He helped Raymond take off his shoes and tucked him into bed. His feelings grew stronger. Charlie realized that someone had always remembered him, always thought of him. In Raymond's world, he constantly reminded himself, don't hurt the little brother. Charlie suddenly understood. He no longer cared about the $3 million inheritance. Now he only wanted to gain custody of Raymond and take good care of his brother. When they passed through Las Vegas, Charlie suddenly thought of Raymond's talent. After testing him, he found that Raymond could actually remember cards. He immediately turned the car around and drove towards the casino. The two had custom-made matching suits. The casino was bustling with activity. He relied on his amazing memory to remember 6 decks of cards. Every bet he made won them more chips. The casino manager soon sensed something was wrong and sent someone to check the surveillance footage, trying to find evidence of cheating. But no one could have imagined they found nothing amiss. At that moment, Raymond stood up and pointed at the roulette wheel, wanting to try it. Charlie bet according to his suggestion, but they lost. Charlie calmed down. The money they had won was just enough to pay off his debts. There was no need to take any more risks. Suzanne found them. She noticed that Charlie had changed. He was no longer obsessed with money, no longer hated his family, and had started to care about the people around him. Early the next morning, the three of them left the casino and continued towards their destination. As soon as they got home, Charlie received a call from Dr. Bruner asking to meet him. Dr. Bruner told Charlie,
Yeah? And it doesn't matter whether or not you're in custody of Raymond. I won't have to pay you a dime. It's at my discretion, not the court's.
he proposed a deal.
$250,000.
And no strings attached. Just walk away, Charlie.
Charlie whispered.
Because it'd been nice to know him for more than just the past 6 days.
Now, what he was doing had nothing to do with money anymore. What his family had owed him was never a car or a sum of money, but the unspoken truth about his brother and the family he never knew. That's why he believed he could win the lawsuit. But an accident still happened. Raymond was heating food in the microwave when it burned, producing thick smoke that triggered the fire alarm. The loud noise terrified Raymond. Fortunately, Charlie rushed over in time and resolved the situation. Raymond was still frightened, so Charlie took him to eat pancakes. To his surprise, Raymond even joked with him. He was no longer as scared as before, and their brotherly bond grew closer. Charlie was confident he would win the lawsuit, but before the trial, the judge held a mediation session, hoping to resolve Raymond's custody issue in advance. Charlie refused.
Well, you guys have already made up your mind. I'll see you in court, huh?
Brother came further with me in a week than he did with you in 20 years, and that's the truth.
I don't think it's necessary.
You don't know anything about us.
The judge said slowly, "No one wants to separate you. We're just making a judgment based on facts to see who Raymond would be better off with." Charlie became very emotional. He didn't know how to express his feelings to the judge. At first, he had indeed been in it for the money, but now the $3 million was just a number, far less important than family. But things often don't go as we wish. After the judge's evaluation, it was determined that Raymond would be better off living in the sanatorium, where the environment was familiar and he could receive better care. On the day of their separation, Raymond boarded the train holding the portable TV Charlie had bought him, his school bag stuffed with snacks. Charlie stood on the platform filled with reluctance. Once, he had hated his father, thinking that luxury cars and wealth could fill the emptiness in his heart, and that family love was something unattainable. When his father passed away, he had used the excuse of inheriting the estate to hide his fear of facing the past, until Raymond appeared. At first, he had seen Raymond as a tool to fight for the inheritance, hating his strange habits and even mocking him. But the longer they spent together, the more he discovered Raymond's talents, recognized this brother who shared his blood, and understood the guilt and helplessness hidden behind his father's silence and irritability. When the imaginary Rain Man and Raymond's figure merged into one, and when the sense of security he had lacked since childhood returned in the form of family love, the emptiness in Charlie's heart was finally filled.